What are we leaning in for?
The quiet time.
The quiet time. Welcome to episode 76 of the Good Guy Podcast.
Post watershed.
I'm Vittorio Angelone.
And I am the unnamed woman.
The unnamed woman. Welcome to episode 76 of the Good Guy Podcast with me, Vittorio Angelone, and my unnamed female accomplice,
Izzy.
We've
got a sofa. We can talk about the sofa.
Yeah, write that down. So this is the new format of the Good Guy Podcast, which we've trialed for our Patreon patrons. If you'd like to do that, thank you so much for listening.
Burping is a really great way to welcome people in. Hello.
See, this is what Izzy's. This is what my unnamed female accomplice is here for.
My stage name.
This can be merch, because we're coming up with merch ideas now. Because Violin Mick from the Patreon pod said,
Violin Mick, we listened to we did the Deck Chair and Yums podcast quiz yesterday.
Fucked it.
We weren't very good, but they played a version of your songs, right? Not your songs, but a violin version.
I think that's what I gathered.
V
it was
said
really
it was
fucking
you.
good.
It was amazing. I think it was better than
really
the original. And I don't know what the lyrics are. What did I think it was? Here we are now, entertain us.
Yeah.
Apparently that's not right.
I didn't know either. But so the Patreon, the merch that Violin Mick said that we should, he said he couldn't possibly answer the question that we asked on the Patreon pod, which was what's his favourite podcast.
Ooh.
Which is fair because he listens to about 12,000.
But
I did listen to the start of his today, and he had the classic. He's on episode 4 of his podcast with his String Ninjas friend. Check out the String Ninjas podcast on wherever you get your podcasts. And they had the classic issue of they recorded it sounded or looked shite or something went wrong. So we were listening to attempt number 2, which always has a funny. I've spoken to Aaron McCann about this before. It always has like a funny, like, bite to it.
What, the second one?
Yeah.
Because you're bitter because you didn't get it right the first time.
Yeah, and also you feel a bit like an actor.
Okay.
Because
right,
you're
okay.
trying to recreate, because you're still going to talk about the same topics.
Sometimes in a similar way, like because I'm an actor, I'll have this moment where I'm like, how would I do this if I was acting right now? And like I was walking in the park the other day and I was like, okay, carry on walking as if there's a camera on you. And then this like weird walk came out of me where I was like so wet, like no one was even watching me. I was walking like so.
What?
That's
funny.
What happened?
That is funny. Let's do all the. So this is a new format for the podcast.
Oh yeah, we
trialed it on Patreon. I think it went really well.
I just hope people like me.
People really do. People respond really well, and we get a lot of listens and views because people are perverts.
If you get fed up with it, just say I don't mind. I'm here to.
I don't think people will get fed up with you.
I'm here to be the voice of reason. So we've noticed a pattern where Vittorio will ramble, rightly so, because speech is free, and you chose to listen.
You clicked on my face, bitch.
No, don't say that word.
Okay. No, I have to be able to say bitch on the podcast.
Why do you have to be able to say it? So this is a really good example. So I'm here to say to Vittorio,
no,
hey,
you're also here to help prompt my brain flow and keep me on a track that's fun.
Do you know what?
You're not just here to tell me off.
I'm going to do a Harris and say I hadn't finished what I was saying. And she does this smile and she goes, I hadn't finished what I was saying.
Harris? Who's Harris?
Kamala.
Oh, Kamala Harris.
So what I was saying was, if Vittorio says something, when it's in a podcast form, there isn't that back and forth of an audience member being like, oh, is that, I get you trying to be funny, but is that really the right thing to say? And that's kind of what I'm here for. So I'm not here to be funny.
No, you are. I think I don't want your entire role to be telling me off, either on the podcast or in real life.
I don't think it is.
No, I don't think. But I think you're framing it a little bit like your role in the podcast is to tell me off.
No. Well, if it's come across that way, sorry.
thank you for listening and watching. If you're watching to the Good Guy Podcast, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and the subscribe button, and ring the little bell if you want notifications. I post stand-up clips and podcasts on there. If you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. I know for a fact that barely any of you will, and hardly anyone ever does. But just be the fucking good cunt, okay? Just be a good person, and just 5-star the podcast, okay?
I don't think you have to unless you feel like it's worth 5 stars, but it does help him out a lot.
Well, don't give it 4. Some guy gave it 1 star the other week.
Yeah, probably because you're pressuring him into saying 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars.
But why are you putting in the effort and to give me 1 star?
Well, that's the thing. People who are annoyed.
But he didn't give a feedback.
But people who are annoyed go to those lengths.
So this is what we need. We need the people who just enjoy the podcast, like most people do. To step up to the fucking plate.
It's like I work for a tutoring site profile thing, and I was having a bit of difficulty with this. They basically put me on the premium, and I was like, no, don't want to pay a stupid amount of money for that. And then I went on the Facebook to see if anyone else had an issue with it, or to see, because they said contact us via email or Facebook because we don't have a phone. And all it was on Facebook was people reacting to their things with angry emojis, being like, this site is full of crap. They took my money. It's full of bollocks and not real shit. And like, it's just probably people who do enjoy using it and have benefited from it don't get.
Yeah, you're not going to jump on to that. That's the problem with TripAdvisor and everything as well. What I was going to say, well, we need to make sure we include all of the stuff at the start.
What do you mean?
Well, like if you enjoy this podcast and enjoy the stuff that I make, go on patreon.com/Vittorio Angelone for a bonus podcast every week.
Also featuring me, but I'm wearing one less item of clothing.
But it's not a video podcast, so it's a crisp audio podcast.
You don't know which part it is. Which part?
Where I apologize for whatever I said wrong in the week. Because I always do.
Because you've got the time.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Well, you've got the time now.
I do have the time now, but I think it's good. I think the start of the first lockdown, I said I wasn't going to put out bonus content. We can't be this affectionate on camera. People will start wanking.
All I did was put my head on your hand, and now you've hurt my feelings.
I didn't hurt your feelings. If anything, it's a compliment.
You're making me turn to the booze.
Well, listen, we're both on the booze. Win or lose, we're on the booze. Izzy's on the booze to celebrate Biden winning.
Yeah, well, it's predicted. It's strongly
I'm on
predicted.
The booze in remembrance of glorious Donald Trump. Listen, sometimes you lose a rigged election and it's not your fault. And that's okay. Isn't that right?
I'm just going to let you run yourself into the ground.
Donnie T, my boy.
No.
He did his best.
No.
He did his best.
Which is not a lot.
But he still did his best, and that's all you can ask of anyone.
I got in an argument with an Addison Lee courier. We were listening to LBC.
Classic.
On the way back with this sofa in the back.
Which we will tell the story of.
And he turned out to be a Trump supporter. And
Well, he wasn't a Trump supporter from what you told me.
He was a Trump sympathiser.
Well, everyone should be sympathetic to everyone.
It's a shame you're not sympathetic to most things, including the English and me.
Being English is a hate crime. That's going to be our podcast merch when I have podcast merch. So
anyway, me and this Addison Lee courier got into a row. And he was texting me like, be nice, he's dropping off the sofa. And I was like, well, how do you feel? I said to this guy, how do you feel that Trump's he's a sex offender. He's a rapist. He's done horrible things to women. He was like, if he's done them, he should apologize.
But what about Joe Biden? Has he not got the sexual assault accusations?
I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know. So that's why we're not going into it.
Because I found an old podcast clip from a solo podcast back in Belfast from the start. I think it was maybe when it was still Biden Sanders for the primaries. and I was saying, it was like a podcast clip where I was just saying like, he's got dementia and he's been accused of sexual assault, but the problem is he might not remember if he did it or not.
I don't actually want to go down this route. Can we?
That's okay. I was gonna say that we have coordinated our outfits inversely.
I didn't even notice.
If you're not on the YouTube and you want to see what it looks like,
would you look
I'm
at
wearing
that?
brown trousers and a black t-shirt, and Izzy's wearing black trousers and a brown jumper.
I would say my jumper is more than brown.
Brownish tan is
it
what you
is
said earlier.
Autumnal.
That's too broad.
Autumnal.
I'm worried about the sound quality in this room. It might be because we've got a lot of hard walls. Might have to hang up some kind of ethnic blanket over there.
No, we'll just do this.
Okay, you can. This is quite funny actually. But you have to read out your questions. So there's a new format for the podcast where Izzy isn't just telling me off for things. She's keeping me on track.
Who's Izzy?
Izzy's put a blanket over her head for the people who are just on audio, which is most people. Izzy, come on, get out of the blanket. Are you drunk? You've had a fair bit of gin.
I've had more than I would in a while.
You're drunk, aren't you?
I'm just happy.
This is a drunk podcast. If you enjoy what I do, jump on Patreon for as little as £1 a month. You can give more. Although also if you're foreign, you can give less.
Why are we back on that? We already covered that.
We barely covered that. You need to stop interrupting my podcast
We
flow.
don't need to spend 10 minutes talking about
But would you do it at the top and then you go into the actual podcast?
All right, here we go.
You're new to the pod. This is episode 76 and you're telling me what to do.
Can I light some incense?
What the fuck? Yeah.
On my mic.
Right, you can light some incense. I'll talk into both mics.
It's Nag Champa.
Right, you're too drunk to do a podcast.
I'm not.
So jump on Patreon. It turns out if you are like in like the Eurozone, you can subscribe for €1 a month, so it's only 90 pence. So if you wanna so if you wanna subscribe for absolutely shit all, you can do that as well. Yes, Izzy, you're using the wrong side of the matches to light the match. This is a terrible podcast. This is your first.
Am I sober enough to be allowed there in open flame?
It went out, everyone.
Carry on, Vittorio.
Is this are we gonna be able to do a podcast every week together?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's going to be so fun. It's going to be the most fun you've ever had.
Right. So, jump on Patreon if you can, because lockdown's on again and I don't have any gigs. Not that I was getting paid for very many of my gigs, but at least I was getting stand-up clips out of it. And check out the stand-up clips on Instagram and Twitter and all those places. What are our topics to cover for today, Izzy, as queen of the topics and the
2020 erection.
The 2020 erection 2020.
We are also covering some quick fire questions.
Quick fire questions if anyone didn't hear that.
Oh, some bagel women that we met today.
We went for bagels this morning and there was some fucking horrible cunts there.
And this sofa.
This sofa has a storied past.
A saga and a half. I'd like to start with the sofa, actually.
Would you like to start with the sofa?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the thing that you've been doing recently where you tell the first half of the story and I tell the second half of the story?
I do.
That sounds good.
So, in this room, before there was a sofa, there was another sofa that wasn't very comfortable. And I got it when I moved into this flat first with my friend Grace. And then Grace got a new bed, so we put her old bed up here as well. And then since V has moved in, we've said, oh, let's try and make this room more.
But if you're the landlord, I haven't moved in.
Oh.
I don't think the landlord
He's here
listens to my
temporarily.
podcast.
I don't think he knows you exist. So we decided to turn this room into more of a living room space, even though it's wee, but it's nice to have a communal area to kind of let off some steam and have somewhere to relax. It isn't just your bedroom.
And record podcasts?
Yeah, and record podcasts.
The setup currently is the laptop is on an ironing board.
It's really cool.
And so is the audio interface, and then the light is behind the laptop.
So
Which is why we need the Patreon. Because this isn't sustainable. It's a fucking ironing board.
Yeah. So housemate said, "Oh, let's get rid of the sofa and the bed that we don't need and get something comfier, a bigger sofa that we can all chill out on together, because the sofa we had before was really small." And
Which you've seen on previous episodes of the podcast.
Yeah.
The little black one.
So I didn't feel good about chucking it. I know there was a talk about sending it to like a landfill or a general waste collection. Didn't feel good about it. I'd rather it went to somebody who needed it. So I contacted a load of charities, and then I found one that I think everyone should get in touch with. They're called Mouse.
Donald Trump's campaign fund.
Mouse.
Air Mouse?
Emma-US. Emma's.
Emma-U. What do they do?
They collect furniture for homeless hostels.
E-Mouse.
It's written down here.
Emmaus.
Emmaus.
E-M-M-A-U-S. Emmaus.
Emmaus. And I couldn't tell how to pronounce it even when they came to collect it, because the guy had no teeth. So I didn't know what he was saying. I was like, "Oh, are you from House?" And he was like,
You were very
stressed.
No, you were very adamant about all of this shit that we were getting rid of going to charity.
Yeah.
Despite charity blankly refusing.
Well, we tried to
Take
get the British Heart Foundation to take it, and the guy came, took one look at the mattress and was like, "There's a stain on that." And I was like, "There isn't."
Which wasn't anything to do with us.
It wasn't even our mattress.
Exactly. I'm just clarifying for the people, for the families listening together.
So I went to quite extreme lengths, didn't I?
Yeah, it was a bit fucking mad. You spent 50 quid getting a mattress cleaned. And a man who spoke zero English came when you weren't here and I was.
That's okay. If he doesn't speak any English.
It's grand that he doesn't speak English, but it made my day more difficult.
But ultimately, we did the right thing.
He was like talking into his phone, and then he was showing me what Google Translate said that he said.
Great, that's a brilliant way of using technology to communicate.
Brilliant, but it was a bit fucking stressful.
It's all right, darling.
No, it was okay. It was just funny. It was a funny day. You're very sincere, which really doesn't suit my comedy.
So after a few weeks of them saying, "Oh, we'll come now," and then they didn't, and then no, and then they finally did. They were great. They were super removal men. They were just like in and out in about
Tip teases.
what?
Tip teases. They're like teasing us with the tip.
Please don't say that to me. No. No.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, okay.
If you thought it was funny, drop it in the comments below.
Drop kick it in the comments.
I think the banjo is resonating over there a bit too much. See?
A little bit. So yeah, they came, they collected it, and then I said, you know what, because I spent so much effort getting rid of this amount of furniture, I'm going to take a back seat on the sofa or finding a new one. And then no one stepped up to the plate to try and get a new one, so I ended up getting that as well.
No, because I showed you 2 sofas and you said no to both of them, so I went, okay.
Wow, 2. Effort.
Well, I decided that you were more picky about the sofas than I was, so I
wouldn't say picky. As you often say, you have lower standards than I do.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can't show me option number 3. Or option number 4.
But I just realised that if I'm going to have to show you it every time, then...
Oh, is that hard? You show me stuff on your phone all the time? 3 times a day. Izzy, look at this video.
You show me videos all the
wow,
time.
I'm in a mood
animals.
today.
You're fucking aggressive today. Like, what the fuck? It's the gin.
Yeah.
Top tip for the fellas and lesbians out there. Don't let them have gin.
Why?
Because they shout at you on a podcast.
I don't think I...
Trump 2024.
So I found the sofa, went and got it, and then I brought it home in the courier. Had an argument with the man who was a Trump supporter, and then
Jesus, that was such a long way around that story. Go on.
and then we have a really
I was out gigging.
yeah, we have a really finickety set of stairs.
Is that a word?
Pinickety, fiddly.
Tight.
Yeah, tight set of stairs.
The corner comes back on itself.
We
It's
have
not a spiral, but it like.
we have like a quadruple dog-leg stair. Imagine the scene from Friends where they're like, pivot.
Yeah.
So I brought it in with my housemate, and we spent between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. just trying to get it past this one little corner, and it was just too tight. And it was all about, oh, if we get the angle like this, if we get it like that, we can do it. And I became a pessimist, and I was like, it's not gonna happen.
Which is rare for you.
Yeah, I know, but I think sometimes Grace is so positive, she allows me that change in myself,
Okay.
which is really nice.
Grace is our housemate.
She's
who's
great.
never been named on the podcast before.
No, she was on the Patreon, Mum.
Did we talk? Oh, well,
We
that
talked about Philophobia.
Yeah.
Brilliant film she was just in. Check it out.
It's just about people being scared of Phil. Philip Schofield.
No one
Which
could
is
be
very
scared of.
homophobic.
No one is scared of Philip Schofield. He's dreamy.
I think his wife's scared of him.
No, she's not. No. Anyway, didn't work, and then MacGyver comes home, and the fun starts. Take it away.
Am I MacGyver?
You're
So I was out gigging, so I get back. Was it the last night of freedom?
no.
Are you sure? Was it not the Wednesday?
Oh yes, it was because. No, it was the Tuesday.
Right, it was the Tuesday, which was my last gig.
No, yes, the Tuesday was the last gig, because you said the first one went terribly.
Because I came home drunk on the Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that, because I wasn't drunk on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
I had 2 gigs on the Tuesday. First one was a bad gig. I did okay. They just weren't. The MC was bad. And then
That's what every professional says.
I wasn't getting paid. And then the second gig went class. I smashed it. It was very fun. And then I came back and it was like 11, because I kind of hung around with comedians after, just to, because it was the last gig.
Mm-hmm.
And the sofa was wedged into the stairwell.
And Vittorio couldn't actually get up the stairs to get into the flat, so we had to do something about it.
So we tried a few more angles, a bit more brute force from me.
Grace is great, very good coordinator.
By the time I got there, you'd already taken some chunks out of the walls. I'd say almost all of the wall destroying was before I arrived.
Yeah, I actually no, the nail in the wall. That was after you arrived.
Yeah.
That was post.
So after much trying, we realized that the sofa, despite being perfect sized for this room, wasn't going to fit up the fucking stairs. So we had a choice to make. I thought maybe we could invent or construct a pulley system to get it up to the window on the second floor. But that, not at 11 p.m. No. The correct stores wouldn't have been open, I don't think. So we decided against that. Maybe prematurely, I think it would have worked. But it's all worked out in the end. So we take it out into the alley. And I said, well,
we say alley. We went onto it's quite a main street.
Yeah.
Not many cars come down
it. But a little
but
kind of turn away
a
from it.
chicane?
It's not a chicane.
No, but I just like the word.
Okay. So we kind of realized if it's going against a wall.
It was the back bit that was too big.
Well, I mean, any part of it could be the bit that's too big. Do you know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
But we decided if it's going against the wall, you don't really need the hard back of a sofa, because you've got these cushions anyway. So we get a bread knife.
We'd already been using the bread knife to pull staples and foam out of the sofa until you got there.
Rip open all the fabric and expose the wood frame at the back.
Mm-hmm.
And just start fucking clocking it with a hammer, pulling staples out, pulling nails out, unscrewing bits and bobs, fucking all sorts
like
of
we
shit.
were making noise.
Yeah, at like
this
half
is at
11:30. Yeah, I'll post a video on my Instagram.
It's really
I meant
funny.
to do that.
And then I was like, look guys, we need a saw. This is the only way it's
because
going to
the
work.
posts were going upright and we didn't think we could.
The bread knife was too...
Well, I don't think... No one thought the bread knife was going to cut... I mean, Grace did briefly, but that was fucking stupid.
She'd had a long night.
Yeah, but come on.
So I ran into the shop to say, oh, have you guys got a saw? We need a saw. And then
what kind of shop is it? Actonese? Is that Turkish?
Don't know, but it's a front. No, it's...
Front. Me and Izzy play this game where when a shop looks like it's a front for drugs or sex trafficking.
Or other things like an illegal ironing service.
Illegal something. We go front. And I would like you all to bring that into your daily lives.
Yeah.
It's
common
in London. Maybe more so than other places, but
typically if a fruit shop and a veg shop has mirrors out the front.
Mirrors out the front?
Yeah, to make everything look a wee bit bigger, you know?
No, I think if your shop has boxes and boxes of fruit out the front, you are...
Front.
Yes, front. Actonese supermarket.
They're all lovely in there. The main thing I love about Roman Road, are we allowed to say where we live?
It's fucking happened.
And you said the shop as well. God,
but Acton, yeah.
Well,
Turkish.
I
knew it was Turkish.
They're all lovely. There's this real community around here. It's great.
Don't rob us. I
got a saw.
So, well, you went and you said, do you have a saw? And then he came out and went, do you need help carrying? And we were like...
He was lovely. He was lovely.
He's a funny man, but we were like, no, we need a saw.
But I think he was also like, why should I give this strange young woman a saw at 11:30 at night?
That's
like,
true.
That's not...
But someone around the corner gave us a drill to hang the guitar bracket.
Oh, it was lovely. We've been using Nextdoor, the app about just finding community. And this lovely woman called Alison, she was like, I can give you a drill.
That was nice, but we got the drill. I did my first... That's kind of my first bit of proper DIY, I would say.
Yeah, considering I put up the chest of drawers.
That's IKEA. I drilled the hole in the wall.
Okay.
Which is more difficult, an IKEA chest of drawers or the bracket?
Well, you lost patience with the drawers pretty quickly.
So did you.
I still finished it.
You went back to them, yeah.
Anyway, the sofa.
So we saw the back vertical posts
just a
off
bit.
This thing. Just took a little notch off them, and then we get it back up, and it still doesn't fucking fit. So we saw it while inside the house. Yep. And then we get up the first chunk of stairs.
And I start crying because it finally fits, and it's been 4 hours.
Goes up the second set of stairs. And at this stage, you kind of checked out of the physical activity of the thing.
I was doing some verbal affirmations.
Yeah. Checked out of the physical activity of the thing. And he can't just kick me.
I did.
And we get to the door of this lovely room that we're in now. And it doesn't fit through the door. So we did some more fucking sawing. And now it fits.
And it has no back.
And it has no fucking back. It's chopped off to there.
Yeah. But it's great because the cushions are firm. And it's really nice actually because housemate Grace was saying that she really wanted to do some bonding activities. And what better way to bond than by sawing apart a sofa in pitch black in an alleyway in the middle of the night.
It was a bit fucking mad, but I'll post some pictures and videos of that on my Instagram. That was fine, but we've got this room well set up. We've got
a salt lamp.
1, 2, 3 lamps on the go, couple house plants. I put up a wall bracket mount for a guitar holder thing, which we've got the banjo on at the minute.
Jordan stole that pineapple. Show the golden pineapple, the bronze, copper, rose gold pineapple.
We've got a rose gold pineapple.
Jordan nicked that from somewhere.
Jordan used to live in this room.
Yeah, Jordan was lovely.
He's not dead.
But I love him.
He's gay.
Yeah, I can still... Vittorio. I can still love him.
Yeah, but it's not going to go anywhere.
No.
What's next on the agenda?
Not being homophobic.
How is it homophobic to say he's gay? He's gay?
I'm not asking it to be like it's friendship love. It's not like intimate.
But I still didn't say anything wrong. I think you're too hot on the cancellations.
No, what did you say? What did you not say wrong?
You have to. I think what you have to do is just let me say the thing and then question it. Don't stop me from saying the thing.
I did let you say it, and then I said.
But I just said he's gay.
Yeah, and I said I love him, and you said, but he's gay.
Yeah. So
do you not see an issue with your parent saying that I can't love him because he's gay?
No, I was just saying it's not going to go anywhere.
I don't need it to go anywhere.
Then that's okay.
But it doesn't have anything to do with him being gay.
But it was just a funny... I knew you were saying you love him as a friend. And so did everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're in a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's funny for me to say, but he's gay, as if you meant it in a romantic way. Is this podcast just going to be me explaining jokes from now on?
Can I go back under the blanket, please?
No. You're fading because you've had 2 gins.
No, I'm not.
Crack on with the list. We've done half an hour and
nothing's happened.
Yeah, thick also. If you're still listening,
actually, here's what I'd like to do.
Patreon.com.
I'd like to read you all a very short poem that I wrote down.
Do you remember when we said that like you coming on as co-host wouldn't mean that you kind of dominate the podcast?
Well, I thought this would be like a nice welcome to the podcast, Izzy sort of thing, and like.
Yes, is this okay? We can do that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work out the dynamic.
And then I'll shut up from podcasts here on out.
I'm not telling you to shut up. It was just the balance work, because in the past you felt like you wanted to be more of a guest or an interviewee, but that's not. We've spoke about it at length, and the dynamic we're aiming for is like a kind of a springboard for my consciousness.
Yeah. Okay.
Which seems rude and isn't how I treat Izzy in normal life. It's just a function of the podcast.
It is.
It's not. Now you're just going to get me cancelled because people on the audio didn't see the stupid little look you gave the camera.
I didn't give the camera a look.
You fucking did, you bastard.
All right.
I'm going to phone Childline on you.
You're older than me.
When your mum gets angry and she smacks you on the bum, call 0800 111. Did you never have that?
No.
I thought that was really funny.
What I'll do is I'll read my
I feel like I'm bombing. That's what this feels like. I'm bombing in my own home.
I will read my...
You're supposed to laugh when I say funny things. This is so not supportive. I feel left out to sea. I don't have any gigs at the minute. All of my work has been cancelled. All of my creative outlet. And I'm here trying to be funny. And the love of my life is sitting there looking at me like, you're a dick. In front of my adoring fans. Is that what you want? Do you want me to rant and get very angry? Because normally that's when I say offensive things.
Do you ever shouting into a cupboard?
You love shouting into a cupboard. It's Izzy thinks shouting into a cupboard is the funniest fucking thing in the world. Even though I spend fucking hours writing some of the best jokes available on the comedies. No, there's a sofa in the way of the fucking cupboard. I'm so fucking angry right now. It's unbelievable. Ah! I can't fucking hack this.
My chest hurts.
This is what we want. I shouldn't have to rant and be so ludicrously angry to make you laugh.
So
just laugh at my little low energy funny jokes. You're such a bitch.
Do not call me a bitch.
Okay.
It's not a word I enjoy.
Okay. What's next?
Titty squiz is fine.
Titty squiz.
I have a friend that calls me titty squiz.
Okay.
She calls me squizzy. All right, so this is a poem by Brian Bilston, and I'd like you to read it.
In what accent?
Your own's lovely.
Okay. Duvet, you are so groovy. I'd like to stay under you all of Tuesday.
And now read it as it's written.
Do what I did?
But like...
Duvet, you are so groovy, but spelled like Groovet.
So like, when I read it, writing-wise, I read it like this. Duvet, you are so groovet. I'd like to stay under you all of Tuesday. Thank you for having me. I will quietly exit now.
Should we talk about the election?
Yes.
You're the one that's supposed to keep this on track.
I'll stop talking.
You don't have to stop talking. No, don't stop.
What do you want me to do?
How many items are on the list?
We've done one of them.
Yeah, and how many are there in total?
4.
And it's 36 minutes into what is aiming to be an hour-long podcast.
Okay, let's do it. Election 2020. What are your thoughts?
Can I have a better question than that?
Do you like Biden?
No.
Why?
Boring.
Oh, so you'd like a bit more sexual perversion in your presidency?
Oh no, he's got enough of that.
Well, again, we don't know, so...
We don't know about Trump, do we?
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty obvious.
But same for Biden.
And I think
He's just not charismatic.
I think there's more evidence pointing towards Trump and accounts, and I don't want to go into it because I don't know enough about it. That's why.
Trump 2024, and I don't mean Donald, I mean Donald Jr. 2024. It's going to be him versus AOC.
You've been
and AOC is going to get assassinated because she's too anti-rich.
Well, AOC was subject to... So they made memes of her violent... Oh, you know what I'm like with trigger warnings. Her violent rape. It didn't actually happen, but they made memes about it. And there were 10,000 men and recruits in... I don't know the actual name of it, but it was like some kind of military organization. 10,000 recruits on, and some of them very, very high ranking, on this Facebook page sharing these things.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck's sake. Like, how did 10,000... This is a while ago, but
as
like,
in troops, as in...
Yeah.
Who would have thought that army members could be absolute dickheads? What a surprise. Happy Remembrance Month, dickheads. Donald Trump, gone but not forgotten. Never forget.
Can you do an impression of him?
Too many people do it. I would just be doing an impression of people doing an impression of Donald Trump.
So that's a no.
I don't think so. Do you want me to try?
Yeah.
Give me a sentence to say. Should I do the poem?
Yeah. Duvet.
Duvet, you are so groovy. Why is he gay?
I don't know that that's necessarily Duvet.
I'd like to stay under you. You. All of Tuesday. What? I can't do Trump, apparently. It's going to be amazing. Duvet,
Jaina.
you are so groovy. You're the most groovy of anyone. It's amazing. Awesome. Fantastic. We have the best. We have the best duvets available. I'd like to stay under you. Not in that way. Thank you very much.
It's not Elvis.
Thank you. All right. All of Tuesday. All of Tuesday. Not just part of Tuesday.
All
not
of
the
it.
morning, not the afternoon.
Kamala Harris couldn't climb my crane.
You're gay as well. Kamala Harris just needs to go home and stop rigging the vote. Okay? Danny T out. What's wrong?
Nothing. I just didn't. If you posted that as a clip on the internet, I just didn't want to be recognised.
You're a bastard. You're a coward.
I hid my face.
Should I pixelate your face for the whole podcast?
Put a voice filter on.
Like Jerry Adams?
Yeah.
Do you know that happened? He was played by a voice actor. Blind Boy doesn't do a voice actor.
No, but I'd like a plastic bag.
You like a plastic bag?
We've
got a balaclava. Do you want a balaclava?
No, you've been pretty on top of keeping on top of the election, actually.
Only since the voting started.
That's okay. It's really good to show interest in political things around the world.
I watched Alfie Brown's Twitch stream. I would recommend watching any of his Twitch streams at the minute. Alfie Brown, comedian. And also listening to his album on Spotify. You should check that out. I think you'd really, really enjoy it.
Meow.
There's a really funny moment in the album where in the first 10 to 15 minutes, people arrive late because you recorded it in Edinburgh. And he was like, oh, well, like the classic, like, oh, we've just been waiting for you to arrive. And then he was like, oh, so what do you guys do? And he was like, wait, you're from the record company, aren't you? So the people that were producing the album showed up late to the gig that he was recording. It's so funny.
That's cool.
It's so funny. Alfie Brown, I think it's called Chaos or something, but Alfie Brown, just type it into Spotify. It's really fun, good. But I just got into that and just learned a little bit about it, because I think the thing with me with everything is I'm either all in or don't give a fuck.
I think that's true.
Because like as soon as I like learned a little bit about how it was panning out and what needed to happen for who to win, I was like, but what does that mean? 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 And just went like into it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before I was like, I couldn't care less.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn at all. I was thinking about how
the rudest.
The room's really incensing.
Yeah. That's what happens when you light incense.
Yeah, it's true. No, I think it's great, and I've definitely been more motivated to dip my toes in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about anything, and I realized, I think today I've gotten remarkably more stupid since I left school. What?
Okay.
Not Guildhall.
Okay.
I mean, like school. Because I was quite high achieving academically.
Yeah.
But I just fucking... As soon as I stopped doing it and stopped being exposed to it every day, I'm just like...
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
And that is what the R rate will do if people stop going out and getting exposed to coronavirus every day. That's a nice link, isn't it? Lockdown 2.
Lockdown 2.
Here we are.
You said I was morose.
You were morose. You were sad.
When it got announced.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. I think I gain a lot from gigging. And it's not even... Because a lot of people speak about it like, oh, I was supposed to be progressing to this gig and building up and climbing the ladder and doing this or whatever. And I'm just like... No, the actual fucking art of the jokes that I was making was at a better place than it ever had been. And I was just excited to keep improving.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't getting paid for fuck all. One of my only paid gigs over lockdown, I had to travel to Surrey for, so made a total profit of about £4, which was a good gig, that I should have filmed but only audio recorded, which annoys me. But yeah, I was very upset. And look, I'm not going to pretend to know what's the best thing to do, whether to lock down or to not lock down.
But it's also okay to be upset.
It's okay to be upset, but I don't want to like... Because I think a big part of me is like, fuck your lockdown. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
On a lot of levels, it might not be the right thing to do. And I think the problem is, what I was saying earlier, if I get into it, I'll go brrr and read everything and it'll fuck my head up. Because I'll become this mad conspiracy theorist. Not even conspiracy theorist, just like there's all sorts of negative effects of lockdown that we didn't know before because we'd never done a lockdown. But now we do know that like we need to weigh up. And I think Dario was saying that, my older brother was saying that,
Very smart.
very smart.
Hyper intelligent.
What's it called? The body that like maps the effect.
Who?
No. So UK has a specific one.
Oh.
Where they have like the whatever that maps the trajectory of like and projects what's gonna happen with the virus if we don't lock down or if we do lock down. But it doesn't take into account economic factors and downsides to lockdown. It just projects what's going to be prevented, like
in terms
virus
of disease,
wise.
yeah.
Whereas the Swedish body that does the same thing takes the whole thing into account. So it takes the disease into account and takes the economy and the knock-on effect to livelihoods and lives and deaths from the economy as well. Which is, I think, why they've landed on less restrictions than most people, because they took a holistic approach to dealing with the problem. So I think a big part of me thinks like, I don't think this is the best thing. Like, we'll be fine because we're fine. But there's a lot of people who were on the poverty line, get furloughed, 15% less. Then what do? They're now below the poverty line. And they can't pay their bills and can't feed their kids and can't do X, Y, Z. So that's pretty negative. And but I'm not going to pretend to know definitely that there shouldn't be a lockdown or there should be a lockdown.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I am for, and I think is a good way to do it, is I do care about people around me feeling comfortable. So when I'm out and about and in a shop, I will put on a mask. I've seen articles that say that masks don't work and do work and in all directions. But what I want to do is just make everyone else feel as comfortable as I can make everyone else feel. That's all I want. I don't really care. Like, it might work, it might not work. It doesn't fuck me up to wear a mask. I'm well used to it by now. So I just do it so that the people
Although
around
my
me
chin is
feel
suffering. I am a spotty
breakouts
lady.
like fuck yeah, all around here, just bad shit. I think we went like maybe a week without washing the masks there though, so it was probably bad.
Dirty people.
But I think that's what I think we have both felt, that first bit of lockdown where it's like your kind of day to day takes a bit of a knock just because your mental's taking a bit of a knock.
Well, in a weird way, my day to day has actually become busier than I ever have.
Yeah, you're doing quite a bit of babysitting.
Because I'm able to commit to
which is
more
allowed.
People, yeah, childcare is allowed before anyone comes at me. And it's also regular with the same people. So I have arrangements with 2 families that I see, don't really see anybody else. And I cycle to them, no public transport involved. And that's great. And
well, what's mad is like I see 180 households a week teaching
kids,
in schools.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just in and amongst it.
I mean, yeah, but...
Because you can tell kids all you want, but they come up to you and ask to go to the toilet. And then I was talking to my mate Horatio, who has a very good podcast called Boys Gone Wild.
Apparently he's got a neon sign.
Yeah, it says Boys Gone Wild on his wall. Could we get a good guy podcast one? No. We could get a hand painted sign from down the road. There's a hand painted sign company down the road.
Crack on.
Because we were talking about it, and it says if you can work from home, do it. But if you can't, go in, but do your best to social distance. So we were saying that like podcasting is technically like part of our work. In that, like, on our self-assessments we claim expenses for it, and like and we might not make much money from it, but like we still like it's our work, and it's building our audience, and it's doing this whole thing. It is our job.
Your job.
I mean, so mine and Horatio, because we were having this conversation. Yeah, it's my job. So it's like, so me and Horatio were like I'm gonna go to his to record a podcast next week.
Oh, right.
Because it's like, number one, it's one person. So I'm like, in the same way that you go to your families.
I suppose, but then one person and one person and one person and one person.
And this is what we were talking about, because I initially said, look, it's work. So you could have any number of guests if you work out and say whatever. I was thinking of I bumped into a guy from Angel Comedy recently, and obviously they're closed at the minute, but they got some funding, and he said anytime you want to come down, they have a green screen, they have their like comedy space. He's like, anytime you want to come use any of the space for free, just let me know. And they'd built these perspex screens for coming back to gigs to put kind of between audience members. And I was like, I could do a podcast where they were on different sides of a screen, so there's no cross-pollination. I could do it there, but then what's the level of like I am going up, and I think you weigh things up every time whether you think it'll be worth it, because we can just do this podcast and we can crack on and it'd be like grand,
but it might be awful.
I think this has been really good. I think it's taken a little bit of time to get into it, but I think it's been good.
It's in a bit of time to get me to stop talking.
Partly, but you've been good at prompting stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get used to the vibe as it goes. But
if you want me to talk more, say so. That's the audience.
Like, for example, I'm going up to Liverpool or near Liverpool to record a podcast.
I'm thrilled.
And Izzy's a bit annoyed, but it's like, it's a huge podcast to the point where I told a comedian I was going on it, and he was like, holy fuck, that's bigger than going on Mock the Week. So I'm going to do that. And like you with your families, it's like two people and 3 people in a room. So
but I don't have to get a train there.
I think the train's going to be empty.
Well, Georgie, Cora's friend, got on the train to go back to Manchester and got it on the train.
Definitely got it on the train?
Yeah.
How did she know she got it on the train?
Because that's when she started feeling...
On the train?
Just after.
Because you wouldn't start to show symptoms for 10 days.
Well, that's when she feels that she got it, because that was the only time she was really around people.
Anyway, I think it's because everything's risk management, isn't it? I'm not being ridiculous.
No, but I'm just trying to stress the importance of what's going on. Because if you get it, I lose my income and I'm not furloughed.
And
I can't pay rent.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I mean, I think I lose my income if I get it as well. So I do understand.
But you've got 100,000 people listening to you that one of them might give you further work, you know?
Yeah. But I think it's all risk management. Like, we both have friends that we've met up with when we weren't supposed to. When the
R rate wasn't, steadily increasing.
But it was steadily increasing before the official lockdown happened. And
I suppose,
on the day,
but,
we both saw people.
In the same way, you can work from home with podcasts and sketches and clips and things like that. I can't, really.
No, I know. And I can't teach from home, really, if I get it. Because if the school's closed, then I can do the work from home that they have been doing before. But if the schools are still open and I get it, I think they'll just replace me for 3 weeks or whatever, and then I'm back in.
I think they'll probably do longer than 3 weeks. I'd say they'd do at least a month.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. I think to suddenly be like, oh yeah, he's over, it's been 2 weeks. They don't know that. Because it might have mutated to the point where it goes beyond 2 weeks. There are people suffering from the effects of it still 6 months down the line.
But they're probably not contagious.
I don't know.
But this whole thing, it's all just conjecture. Conjecture. So it's like, at some point you have to make a decision. And this is the problem. I'm not claiming to know any better than anyone else, but I am aware of some things that I'm doing that might not be allowed, but I'm going to be careful with it, but I'm still going to do it because I think the risks are worth the payoff. And I think everyone does that. You've done that. You went swimming with people multiple times over the first lockdown, and you can say it's the R rate increasing, but it's like...
That wasn't a lockdown, though. That was...
But you were you weren't supposed to be meeting up with people.
Not really, no. But we weren't touching or anything.
But this is the thing. So it's you're using your interpretation to manage the risk of the rules, and I'm doing the same with mine.
I suppose so.
That's all you can ask of anyone, really.
I think it's just ever so slightly different because we are in a full-scale lockdown now.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's we're still at all, even in the first lockdown, we were doing things that I had gigs in my garden. I definitely wasn't supposed to do that.
Also very different because you were in Ireland where the rates were lower than they were.
Oh, Belfast was pretty high actually. But it's like, this is the thing, we don't know all of the information. We're not entirely read up on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And we're all managing our own risk. I'm just trying to make people feel okay about occasionally needing to see someone, even if it's just outdoors, to grab a takeaway coffee and go for a walk. Because people who live by themselves like are completely just lonely. And
But that's not what you said. You said about getting on a train and going to Liverpool. That's not going and getting a coffee with a mate down the road.
no, but it's like the benefit of me going on that podcast is enough where I'm like, I'm gonna like mask on the whole time. I'll wear a visor as well if you want. I can get my hands on a visor, and I'll make sure I'm not sitting anywhere near anyone on the train. I'm sanitizing like fuck. My hands
That
are
sanitizer
fucked.
that you got us though with the moisturizer in it is so good.
It's good. It is better for your hands.
Yeah, really good. I haven't felt the constant dryness.
Yeah, so it's stuff like, I think my feeling about this podcast is just that, like, I don't think if I say no to it, I think the opportunity might not come up again.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I think it's a really cool opportunity. So I'm like,
And there's no way you could do it online.
no, because their whole, they've built a studio.
Yes, but that doesn't answer the question.
No, they wouldn't have me do it online.
Okay.
So it would definitely have to be in person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a train. It's not to Liverpool. It's to like some shithole near Liverpool where I don't think anyone will be on the train.
But do they go via Liverpool?
So it's like it might be on like the super, super slow train to Liverpool that I think fuck all people will be getting it at the minute. And I'll just like, literally, if the seats are all full, I'll just stand in between carriages, not near anyone. And like, I'll be on it. Like I always am. I'm careful about it because I'm aware it's my income. I'm aware it's your income. It's this whole thing.
Yeah. I felt so uncomfortable at the park today.
Oh God, the park was full of people.
It was awful.
Full.
Like, I go to the park every day during the week with the kids. Dead, quiet, just
Yeah.
nothing happening. You can, got your own space for miles. And today, my shoulders were up to my ears. I could barely move. I felt like I was
It's a massive
freaking out.
park as well.
Huge. And I understand that people are exercising and stuff and making the most of the weekend and having time to go out with their kids and stuff. It's just,
I also think this is
it's not sustainable.
This is our first experience of London lockdown,
Yeah.
which I believe culturally is way less adhered to than anywhere else.
I feel like that as well. Like, we went through the park on the way to the bagel shop to support local and get some local bagels for the week instead of feeding Tesco. And we were in the queue and these women came in behind us and they pushed themselves right up against our backsides. None of them wearing masks, all from very different households, about 6 of them. And
all with very expensive dogs.
Vittorio's going to do a crass impression at some point. I probably will as well. But I'm sure they were all lovely, but they were just...
I don't think they were fucking lovely.
They
seem
might
like
be
awful people.
They might be on a good day, but this is really a bad day. And one of them did a piss in the street.
Yeah.
Like, just she was
I don't like this lockdown because you used to just be able to go into a restaurant and do a wee, but I really need a wee.
Honestly, girls,
just
I don't
go
know
down the street.
Honestly, girls, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna piss myself. I'm gonna do it. Honestly, I've got to go right now. I can't. Oh!
Look, some people are garbage, and that's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. And then so they all had dogs. The dogs were all trying to shag each other. And then one of them, I love dogs. One of them started licking one of my ankles. And one of the women said, "Oh, what's she doing? Is she licking her out?" Or something like that.
Yeah.
And I looked back at this woman and I was like, I think I said something to like downplay.
I don't know why you played into the banter.
I think I just panicked.
You said like, "I wish."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What? You want a dog to lick you out?"
I panicked. I do not feel that way at all.
But they were just garbage
They
people.
were awful, and they were like pushing through. They were honestly
shouting over the top of everyone.
Yeah, like,
"What are you getting tuna? Are you getting tuna?"
honestly, I don't want to get. Oh, it's such an important decision, girls. I don't want to make the wrong decision, honestly.
It's a fucking bagel.
I don't mean to do a crass impression of somebody from Essex. I love.
This is what they sounded like.
Like
they're stereotypical impressions, and then that's what you fucking sound like.
Well, I even said to V, like, I only thought those folks existed on TV. I thought there was just such a small minority of people that act this way. And I saw some in real life. They were awful. They
Garbage
were absolutely
people.
awful. They didn't have a mask on them. They didn't give a shit. It really lowered the tone.
And there wasn't a mixed breed dog between them, and they had about 9 dogs.
Yeah.
It was all purebred fucking L dogs.
Very like
not well trained dogs,
unhappy
just all
dogs.
fighting each other and pulling on the leads and going mad.
Yeah, and then there was one silver lining where
I kicked one of them. No, I didn't.
For some wonderful reason, we just ordered, and there was a queue of about 5 people who had already ordered waiting for their collection. And then they just brought out our order, and they forgot about the 5 people.
Oh, no, because this was sad, because there was a nice...
Well, she was nice, but it was a silver lining for us because we didn't have to be around those crazy women anymore.
Yeah, the people in front of us, she was from Belfast, I think.
Mm.
She sounded like she was from Northern Ireland somewhere. They seemed like a nice bunch of kind of student-y young professional people. And she grabbed the bag and went, "Oh, did you get 3 smoked salmon cream cheese?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I think this is your order." They must have forgot mine. So they forgot her 1 smoked salmon cream cheese bagel. But sorry to any listeners in Belfast if you think I've abandoned my roots by eating smoked salmon cream cheese bagels all the time.
They're bloody
good. But listen, I'm better than you now because I live in London.
Should we have given her one of our smoked salmon cream cheese bagels?
No.
Why?
Because she got one in about 9 seconds.
That's true.
Have we covered everything?
Yeah, I just realised on the list I wrote women bagel women.
Women bagel women. Do you want to do the quick fire questions to finish?
Yeah, they're really not great. Here we go.
Should we... Let's say, again, just a reminder, if you're on the YouTube, hit the thumbs up thing. Subscribe for more podcasts. We're pretty much coming to the end of the podcast. Going to wrap up with some quick fire questions for Vittorio.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we forgot to take a screenshot. This is why you need to let me do my little pre-show
I will let you
chunk at the start. So if you're if you're still listening, because it's less likely people make it this far through.
Okay.
So, but for the people that did make it this far through, like I think that'll be most of people. But it's just like if you're on YouTube, take a screenshot now. Let's do like one so I can do the thumbnail off the back of it. So move. No.
I'd like to be in the foreground.
Okay, and then but I need space to make something here.
Did that do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the title of the podcast going to be? What's the title of the podcast going to be?
Would you know my face if I saw you in heaven?
Election reaction. We were supposed to do a COVID test live on the podcast.
Oh, we were.
I think we should do that. We'll finish with a COVID test.
It's going to take a while. There's lots
should we
of
do the COVID
bits
test
in the next one?
Let's stop and then we'll do the COVID test on Patreon.
Okay. Well, we'll finish up the quick round.
So if you want to hear a live and see, because we're set up anyway, we might as well do it for the Patreon. If you want to see and hear a live me taking a COVID test at home, patreon.com/Vittorio Angelone, little as £1 a month, etc. Instagram, if you're listening to this, screenshot, pop it on your story. Best way to spread the word. It's the only way to spread the word. Basically, I'm not paying for ads for this thing. I need you, the groundlings, the core, the OG audience, to spread the word, and we'll keep growing it and bigger, better, and it'll be all great. Mm-hmm. Quick fire questions. Let's hit it up to finish.
Who's your favourite character from Modern Family?
Jay.
Matches or a lighter? This is a quick fire round.
I've always wanted to try one of them electric lighter things.
Scrunchy or a bobble?
I haven't really used it.
You can't say
scrunchy. Is this for you, scrunchy?
Hat or a scarf?
Hat.
Paracetamol or ibuprofen?
Paracetamol.
Will Smith or Will I Am?
Will Smith.
Kerry or Derry?
Derry.
Claire or Kildare?
I've never been to either. Claire.
Harris or Biden?
Trump 2020.
Stop it. Home base or B&Q?
Trump 2020. Home base.
Pizza or super noodles?
What pizza?
Great.
What kind of pizza? What kind of pizza?
Ham hock.
Super noodles.
Also ham hock.
What did you think of our first podcast experiment? We've done an hour and 5.
I don't think you enjoyed yourself because I was
Once
talking
we got
too
into
much
it,
at the beginning.
Once we got into it, I thought it was really good.
But I don't think you like me talking.
No, I think it's a balance we need to strike.
Okay.
Because we spoke for a long time about what it was going to be like and what roles we both play. Because it's still my podcast, you know what I mean? You're kind of a supportive co-host. You're the Scottie Pippen to my Michael Jordan. You don't know what that means.
No.
You're like a caddy in golf.
Mm-hmm.
Help me choose what direction to go in, what clubs to use.
Do I get to hit you with the clubs?
Yeah.
Okay. 9-iron. 9-iron driver.
Thank you for listening and watching this week's episode of the Good Guy Podcast.
If you do have feedback for me, please let me know. I'd rather do a good
Or
job
me
than
as
a bad
well.
one.
I'm not perfect at this,
Yeah.
but I think it was good.
I hope so.
And we'll record the Patreon episode with me taking a COVID test live on camera. And come on, if that doesn't get you on the Patreon, what's going to get you on?
He's going to be gagging. It's going to be gags.
Gagsville.
Uh-huh.